Hey, how you doing, everyone? Jimmy Chadwick here for Trucker Jim LLC. So a lot of truck drivers are reaching out to me, asking me for the best advice and what direction I should point them and them pursuing their dreams of being owner operators. My best advice to you is put that dream on hold and don't try to buy any truck at any price, because right now the market is kind of going through a downslide right now. The war of politics is what I call it. And you just don't want to get yourself involved being an owner operator or having your own authority. It just kind of set you up for self failure. And I'm just giving you some really good advice. My advice to you, wherever you're at, if you're working for a large carrier, a logistics company, stay put. And if you're struggling there, you know, my last 5 years as a company driver, I drove for Ryder Systems. And if you know anything about Ryder, that's a company with, I guess, resilience, leadership, customer service, safety, and they always keep me on par with that. And my best advice to you, if you work for a company like that, you have to have these three things. You have to have the ability to humble yourself. You have to have a good attitude. You have to have a good work ethic. And the bonus to those three is always knowing two wrongs would never make it right. You're going to find that through any logistics company or any major carrier, because it's so big and there's always things falling through the cracks. And what does it fall down to? It falls down to a driver. But my last 90 days that I have with Ryder, I'm going to share this with you. It's really cool because I was not in a position to buy a truck and a trailer, but I paid $10,000 for my truck and I knew I needed to buy a trailer. But the only way I was able to buy a trailer is if I get out with my own authority, start doing power only to save up the money to buy a trailer. And my authority began in January of 24, which is last year. The only problem with that is when I put my notice in with Ryder to leave the account that I was working for 2 years, Southeastern Metals, I was approached by one of the managers saying, hey, our yard jockey is injured and the only one who can run the yard like he does is you. And not only can I run the yard as good as he did, I ran it better. So now that's where my leadership always took in, and always doing what's right. They were good for me, good to me. If it wasn't for Ryder, the time I spent with Ryder, I wouldn't be telling you this story right now. I learned a lot of things with Ryder just by having those three things and always understand that I never made a right out of two wrong. I don't care how you look at it, it's never added up. So I always went with the flow and made the best of things. And that trailer there, that trailer you see behind us, that's 2007 utility trailer. That trailer has made me a lot of money in a year and a half I've been working for Trucker Jim. I've been driving for Trucker Jim, which is my company. But it served me well, and I only paid $4,500 for that trailer. And that wasn't through Ryder, that was through the customer, Southeastern Metals. And I'm gonna tell you why. When I was supposed to leave in January, when they asked me to, help them out, fulfilling for the yard, I told them, not only would I fulfill the yard, I'll stay on the yard until your man comes back. I don't think anyone knew he was gonna be gone for 90 days, but he was. He was gone for 3 months. And I stayed for those 3 months, paid for my liability insurance for my truck, which is $1,500 a month. So pretty much the money that I was making with Ryder, a lot of that money was going into my insurance and just paying for a truck that was sitting there. But I knew that this would come back to me. Just ignore the negativity of this. Just keep doing what you're doing. Something good will come from this. And it was probably my last 2 weeks, last 3 weeks that I was getting ready to leave because the yard jockey was getting better. He was getting ready to come back. And one of the managers from Southeastern Metals, he knew about my story. He knew what I was doing. He knew that I had my own authority. I could have left any time. And he approached me and says, hey, because you really done us some justice here and we really appreciate what you did. Because we have some old trailers in the back that we're replacing because we have new trailers. And he said, go out, give me a list of trailer numbers. He goes pick one of those trailers out and I'll sell it to you at a really good price. And, $4,500. And I went and chose that one right there. And the only thing I had to do with it is put tires on it, brakes on it, and a new ABS system. That made that money back, plus the $4,500, that and many times over. But this is where two wrongs never end out to be a right. That was the customer who did that for me. That was Southeast Metals, and his gentleman's name there, his name was Chris, so thank you for doing that. But when it comes to my company, Ryder Systems, those are the ones I was really servicing. I was getting them out of the jam because they couldn't find a yard jockey to do what I was doing. It's a really hard, challenging job. And if you've seen in my videos back a year and a half, go look at them, you see how challenging that job was. But I did it. And after the yard jockey came back, I told him, once he comes back, I'll give you 2 weeks. Just don't kill me. Keep me around the yard. Keep me simple. And I'll give you 2 weeks so I can do this legitimately with the 2 week notice with the company. And everyone agreed on that. So I stayed. I stayed until the end. The minute that the yard jockey came back and he was okay to go on his own, I was probably about 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a Monday. And I was headed home. And I get a call from one of the managers from Ryder from Southeastern Metals. He goes, hey, I need you to come back here. I need to talk to you. Okay. So I know what was going on, but I went back there. And he goes, hey, I need you to do a route tomorrow. And you had to be up here at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to Alabama. And this is something that I asked him not to do to me. Don't throw me under the bus. Don't let me do all this work, then come back with the dispatch that I'm not going to like. And one thing I don't like driving early hours in the morning. And 3 o'clock in the morning, that's early hours, meant I had to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning here, drive up there. And now my anger, my emotions, I wanted to tell them, you know what, go take your route and shove it, but that also involves Southeastern Metals. If I told Ryder, go take the job, which I should have, not only would I be affecting Ryder, I've been affecting that customer. But I did what was right. I didn't take the two wrongs and add up to the right. You know what I did? I came home here, I was upset. I didn't get much sleep. But I did wake up. I drove the hour and a half to Semco, got in that truck, went and delivered the load, came back, handed the managers the keys, and told them that was done. I did what I said I was going to do, and now it's time for me to move on. And I started Trucker Jam LLC, and here I am, living the life that I never thought I can ever possibly live, but here I am living it, all because I learned to humble myself, have a good attitude, a good work ethic, and never choose to make a right out of two wrongs, so they'll never add up. And if you do the same thing, perhaps you can get where I'm at, and that's just living a life of peace and love. And what else would you ever ask for? So what it is. You have a good day, God bless, and you all drive safe.